So I thought I would follow on from my last video where I did sand cast in place stones in a channel set style. What a mouthful. So I'd do the same thing, but this time with rings. So let's give it a go and see how it works. Alrighty, so let's try sand casting a signet ring with cast in place stones that look like channel set stones. So to do this, I've got the signet ring here that I've cut a channel in, and it kind of says Terence on it because that's what used to be engraved in it, but I filed it right back until there's pretty much nothing left, so I don't think that'll show up. And to cast this so that I have this whole face to work with, I'm going to use Craig Dabler's core casting system. So you can buy that from his website, DIY Casting. So I've got this little insert, and it's the closest insert that fits inside of this signet ring. So I'm going to pop this insert in here. And I'm going to pop this on here. And I'm going to pack some clay into this side. Loose crumbly bits of clay. Pack it down with your thumb and fingers. Make sure it's all nice and tightly packed. And then a big old handful. And compress. I've got Craig's older kit where the whole insert is made of resin, and they're not particularly strong, the little arms on them, so he's remade them with metal little arms on them. So they're a lot stronger, but because my one's the older model, I've got to be a little bit more gentle with them. So that's it there. Let's give that a dust off. Now let's put our ring on here and pop it in, making sure that ring is straight up and down. Push it all the way down. Cool, cool, cool. Now let's get the female flask, pop her on top. Now you've got to make sure the red part and the red part line up. So that's your registration. Now loose crumbly bits of clay. Make sure it's all nice and tightly packed around that ring and the insert. Big old handful. And then let's just hammer it. Alright, scrape off all that extra clay. Now let's pull that apart. Nice and crispy. Alright, let's take this ring out. Gentle, gentle, gentle. It should just lift out beautifully. Cool. So there's a little bit of a lip in there, lip of clay. So let's just get rid of that. And I'm just going to get that insert and lay it back in and just smooth down that clay section. The reason why that's there is because this insert isn't quite the right size for this, but it's just the closest one. So there was a bit of a gap where the clay can get in between the insert and the ring. Alright. Cool, cool, cool. Looking nice. Alright, before we get too ahead of ourselves and get distracted by placing stones, we've got to finish making the mold. So one of the things we have to do is create the core. So number 10, I think. Number 9's pretty tight, but I do know that this insert is a little bit too small for my ring, so probably 10 would be the best. So let's fill number 10 with some clay to create our core. Let's push that out. Oh yeah, how satisfying is that? So let's just check if this core fits nicely. Yeah, I'm happy with that. It needs to be pushed in a little bit because I am using a bigger core than the insert is. But I'm quite happy. Cool, cool, cool. Let's gently peel that out again. All right, let's make our sprue and our funnel. So this is the shank of our ring, so I'm just going to push through. Cool, cool, cool. And let's carve out that funnel. Wonderful. We're going to tidy up that funnel and that sprue hole with the back of paintbrush. Make sure it's nice and smooth and clean, no loose clay. Now, because I sprued up that shank, it might be a little bit wobbly where I've sprued it, so I'm just going to get that ring and I'm just going to really gently press that back in place just to consolidate that clay again. Fantastic. All right, now let's set that to the side and we're going to lay some stones down on this little raised bed of clay in here. That's where I'm going to put my channel set stones, and I've got some pawpaw ointment here to help adhere them down. You don't have to use pawpaw ointment, you can use any petroleum jelly based product. So let's stick that down. Now I'm just going to really lightly place them down at the moment, and I'm going to go back in afterwards and just make sure that they're all in the correct position, and then I'm going to give them a little tiny press on their bums, and that's just to make sure that the table of the stones are in very good contact. We're going to create like a seal between the clay and the pawpaw ointment and the table of the stone. So at the moment, before it's completely stuck down, I can very, very easily move them. Could I fit one more stone in there? One of the things I have to be mindful of is as this metal cools, it shrinks. And that means if the stones are already touching and then the metal starts shrinking, it's going to make those stones want to come even closer together. And if they're already touching, they have nowhere to go but into each other. And then we'll get some broken stones. So, got to make sure there's a tiny little gap between them. So I'm just going to do 4 stones because I can't quite fit the 5 in. So I'm just positioning them now and giving them just a gentle little bum press. And that's to make sure that they are in contact with that clay surface, but I am not pushing them into the clay. Just making sure they're in contact. And that pawpaw ointment is making a little bit of a seal to help hold those stones down against the clay. I'm also making sure there's a teeny tiny gap in between all these stones so that as the metal cools, it'll have room for the stones to not break each other. All right, we're going to put the core in, give it a little gentle press, make sure it's in place, red and red. And close that up. Cool, cool, cool. And we're going to sticky tape around here to create a seal so that when we're using the vacuum suction, it's sucking only through the clay and it doesn't suck through the halfway point of this mold. So we've got this little vacuum table here. It's attached to just my household vacuum cleaner. And it's got this little sucky bit here, and that's where all the suction comes from. So we're popping it there, and that's going to, when I turn the vacuum cleaner on, it's going to help suck the metal down to the bottom of this design to help that ring really form. So I tend to not turn the vacuum cleaner on until I'm about to cast. Turn that extraction on. Alrighty, let's cut this open and have a little look at what we made. Alright, so looks like one of those stones has slipped. It's not in line with the rest of them anymore, which is a shame because it would have been really cool otherwise. And there's a bit of spillage around here. Yeah, on both sides. Cool. Alright, here it is out of the clay. So it's got a fair bit of spillage at the line of parting, but easy enough to sort of pierce that off. The tricky part is this stone that slipped. So it doesn't look super great when it's all off center like that. What do we think of that channel? It's not too bad. I think it would look better if it was deeper. I think if I cut the channel deeper in the master, it will end up looking better in the cast version. It is fairly shallow. I should probably go deeper with it. Get a more dramatic look. Alright, well maybe we should try a different design and see what we get with that. So I was thinking of doing this design, where it's just like a plain sort of parallel band and having channel set stones just across the top here. Let's see how that's going to look. Okay, so let's cast this one with channel set stones. This one's a little bit trickier, just in the sense that I've lost a part of its arm. So it's going to be a little bit trickier to pack. So what I have been doing is packing it sort of like this. I am getting replacement inserts. Craig's sending some to me. They just haven't arrived yet, and I needed to make these videos, so I just have to make do with that. Maybe I'll put a little bit more clay under that side. Easy. So not too big of an issue. I'm just packing it sort of by hand rather than using the little I don't know, block. Thing is, you got to make sure that it's straight across. You don't want it on a lean. So let's compress that. Alright, get all the clay out of that lip. Let's powder this up. And then we'll just keep going as normal, making sure that red and red are lining up. And let's pack it. Loose, crumbly bits of clay. Make sure it's all nice and tightly packed. And then big old handful. and compress it with a hammer. Alright, let's scrape off all that extra clay. Open it up and have a look what we got. Cool. Alright, so it's not as tightly compacted as I'd like it on that side. So what I might do is while it's in here like this, get in. And let's give this side a bit of a hammer now. Alrighty, let's scrape that all off. Open up, let's see. That's better. It's a little bit of clay. That's all right. I'll just close and open again and just consolidate it, making sure red and red. Oh my God. Yeah. Might hit it one more time. Red and red. Just because I still see a little part of it's not quite as tight as I'd like it to be. Let's scrape that off. So we're getting a little bit of a lean to it. But I think we will be okay with that. Red and red, just close and open. Yeah, cool. That's better. All right. Now, before I get too ahead of myself, let's get this one out and let's make the core. So we've got a little bit of that excess clay in here as well, so let's just take that off. But I'm not going to press this back in because I don't want to risk misaligning the channel. So I'm just going to leave it knowing that I'll have a little bit of extra cleanup on the inside of the ring. That's okay. Let's make this core. Number 7. Number 7's pretty perfect. Let's push the clay in here. I've got my little piece of dowel. Let's pack, pack, pack. Look at the other side. Cool. Alright, let's push it out. This is the best part. Oh yeah. So satisfying. Let's have a little look. How does it fit? Like a glove. Fantastic. Alright, we'll set that to the side. Let's do our sprue and funnel. Where's my straw? There it is. So straight through the shank. Whoop. All the way through. Let's carve that funnel. Let's clean that hole out. Make sure there's no loose bits of clay, that funnel is really nice and smooth. Cool, cool, cool. Just going to get that ring shank and just press it in gently just to crispify everything back there again. Wonderful. All right, I'll set that to the side. Let's stick in some stones. So I've got these little sapphires. I'm going to stick them in with this purple ointment. All right, so I've got them all in there, but now I need to give them all a little press on their bums to make sure that they're nice and tightly in position, and give them a little bit of a shuffle if I need to. So I'm just really, really gently pressing on their bums just to make sure that they're kissing that clay surface. All right, let's put our core in. Little pat pat. Red and red, line them up. And then because I'm going to be using the vacuum table, I don't need air vents, but I do need to use some sticky tape to make sure that this flask has some good suction so that all the sucking power draws through the clay and none of it comes through the side. All right, let's give this a go. Alright, let's do the reveal. Are the stones going to be in position? Alright, this is looking promising. Are there stones under this black clay? There are! Alright, they're not super evenly spaced, which is a little bit annoying, but you know what? For a first time, I think I can forgive myself. Alright, let's get this out of the clay and have a closer look. Alright, so this is that out of the clay. Pretty good cast. Oh, I mean, I knew that I was going to have a little bit of spillage on the inside, up on the top, but other than that, very little to clean up, and all the stones are in there, and like I said, other than them being just slightly off center, I really have nothing to complain about. So that'll be nice to clean up. And that signet ring before that I did, I ended up just cutting it off. And I think that's a much nicer design anyway. It's not so big. And the perk being that those 3 stones look like they are absolutely just made to be there. You wouldn't even know that this one came off it. Cool. Pretty happy with the rings. I could almost do something with this little narrow one that I ended up cutting off of this. I could do like, I could turn it into like a little cutie set, you know, like his and his, put them together, or BFFs. But just thrilled with this ring. Very happy. I feel like because I did the pendants first, I did a lot of learning in that, and now I'm starting to get the hang of it. Maybe? Well, thank you guys for watching these videos, and hopefully it's helpful for you guys and you can give, you know, this channel set cast in place style a go. All right, till next time. Bye.